because of the word initially, and they're not asking me to find Q. If they were asking me to find Q, the word initially wouldn't matter. But because of the word initially, I'm going to use an ice chart. My ice chart, everything in it needs to be in molarity. So my first step is to take all of these moles I was given, divide them by the volume, the 3 liters I was given, and that will put them in molarity. 1.2 divided by 3 gets me 0.4 for my initial value of NO2. 0.96 divided by 3 gets me 0.32 as my initial value of N2O4. Then you can do whatever side you want for plus and minus. Because there's no 0, it doesn't matter. If there were a 0, the side with 0 should be positive. I'm going to do minus here and plus there. So if you did opposite, know that when we get to the end for my quadratic, your signs will be different, but all the numbers should be the same. The number of x's is based on the coefficient. And then I don't have any values for equilibrium, so I can't solve for x an easy way. Instead, I'm just going to put expressions here. My Kc value that equals 0.5 also equals products over reactants. Coefficients become exponents. So I've used that 2 in 2 different places. That's okay. Plugging this value in for Kc and these values in respectively. I'm going to start over here. 0.5 equals 0.32 plus x over, it's going to be 0.4 minus 2x squared. So I'm going to write that so I don't mess up the math. Instead of writing the squared, I'm going to write it like this. If the top were squared and the bottom were squared, I wouldn't FOIL it, I'd square both sides, but the top isn't squared, so I can't use that square root trick. Instead, I'll leave this as it is for now, and just FOIL the bottom. So 0.4 times 0.4 gets me 0.16. 0.4 times negative 2x, negative 0.8x. Doing that again for this other term, negative 0.8x, 2x times 2x, the negatives cancel, gets me, 4x squared. Now putting this over 1 and cross multiplying, 0.32 plus x equals, I'm going to go out of order here, 0.5 times 4x squared is 2x squared. The two negative 0.8s together would be negative 1.6x times 0.5 is negative 0.8x. The 0.16 times 0.5 is 0.08. Subtracting 1x over gets me negative 1.8x. 0.08 subtracting 0.32 gets me negative 0.24 equals 0. So because of how my ice chart was set up, this is the quadratic that's going to get me the right answers. If your ice chart was set up backwards, I believe, let's see, these signs would be, this would still be negative, but that would be a positive number. And then it should still work out. You should get everything else the same moving forward. Take my quadratic, negative b, so my b is already negative, the negatives cancel, plus or minus the square root of b, make sure you have this in parentheses, squared, minus 4ac, make sure you include the negative, all over 2a. This simplifies to negative 1.8 plus or minus the square root of, get 5.16. 1.8 plus the square root of 5.16, hit enter on your calculator, then divide by 4. You get 1.02. 1.8 minus the square root of 5.16, hit enter on your calculator, then divide by 4. Negative 0.118. These being positive or negative doesn't matter. What matters is that when I go and plug them back in here, for all of my equilibrium values, I need positive answers. You can't have a negative value at equilibrium. So I can tell if I'm going to take this one and plug it in, I'd get a negative number here. That's not going to work. So this must be the x that works. So to get this answer, 0.4 minus 2 times negative 0.118, I get 0.636. I think I rounded it to 0.64 on the answers. For this one, 0.32 plus negative 0.118 gets me 0.202. Those are my values at equilibrium. Your values at equilibrium always need to be positive. Your x values might be positive or negative. They might both be positive, they may both be negative. That doesn't